The faculty of Fairfield University are happy to welcome you, the mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, husbands, wives, relatives, and friends of the candidates for degrees in course of the class of 2017. The academic procession is now entering the Bellarmine Terrace commencement area, led by Grand Marshal, Assistant Professor Michelle Lee Farrell, a member of the Modern Languages Department, and this year's Alpha Sigma Nu Teacher of the Year. Professor Farrell carries the mace of the university. The academic procession is punctuated by gonfalons representing each school of the university. The gonfalon colors represent the colors of the hoods for the various disciplines offered at Fairfield University. The College of Arts and Sciences gonfalon of white represents the humanities, the social sciences, and the performing arts. The Marion Peckham Egan School of Nursing and Health Sciences gonfalon is apricot, representing the discipline of nursing. The yellow and white gonfalon of the College of Arts and Sciences represents the natural sciences. The Dolan School of Business gonfalon is beige and white, the beige representing business. The School of Engineering's gonfalon is orange and white. The orange reflects the color of the discipline of engineering. The Graduate School of Education and Allied Professions is blue and white. Blue reflects the disciplines of education and counseling. The gonfalons for each school are scattered throughout the procession. The students approaching in the graduation procession on the right are students from the College of Arts and Sciences. And on the left, the students from the Marion Peckham Egan School of Nursing and Health Studies. Following the Marion Peckham Egan School of Nursing and Health Studies on the left aisle are students from the Dolan School of Business. Following the students from the Dolan School of Business are the students from the School of Engineering. Next in line, representing the alumni, are members of Fairfield University's 17th graduating class, the class of 1967. Their presence with us today continues a tradition that began in 2001 at Fairfield's 51st commencement of including members of the 50th anniversary class in our commencement exercises. Joining their colleagues who are serving as marshals for the academic procession are the members of the faculty of Fairfield University and representatives from the Domena Nicelius Library and the Division of Student Affairs. They are preceded by the University gonfalon in the color of red, with the seal of the university centered on the banner. The faculty and administrative staff are represented in the procession, and the various colors of their robes and hoods signify their area of academic discipline and the universities from which they received their graduate degrees. Concluding the academic procession are members of the Platform Party, the rector of the Fairfield Jesuit community, the university director of campus ministry, the university chaplain and special assistant to the president, the dean of students, the deans of the 5 schools of the university, the provost, the vice presidents of the university, the secretary of the general faculty, the faculty recipient of the Robert E. Wall Research Award, the faculty recipient of the Alpha Sigma Nu Teacher of the Year Award, the president of the Alumni Association, the trustees of the university, the honorary degree recipients and their escorts. At the end of the procession, Frank Carroll III, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, and Most Reverend Frank Caggiano, Bishop of the Diocese of Bridgeport, and Dr. Lynn Babington, President of Fairfield University.
President Babington, Bishop Caggiano, members of the Board of Trustees, deans, members of the faculty, administrators, president of the Alumni Association, members from the first graduating class at Fairfield University, alumni from the 50th anniversary class, members of the graduating class, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. As provost for the university, I would like to welcome you to the 67th commencement exercises at Fairfield University. Please remain standing for the invocation, which will be offered by the Most Reverend Frank J. Caggiano, Bishop of the Diocese of Bridgeport, and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem and the Fairfield University alma mater by members of the University Glee Club under the direction of Dr. Carol Ann Maxwell, conductor, accompanied by Beth Palmer and the Brass Salad Quintet.
My friends, good morning. On this beautiful day, I ask you to bow your heads with me and let us ask for the Lord's blessing. Gracious and merciful God, we lift our hearts to you in gratitude for the women and men who stand before us as the graduating class of 2017. They have faithfully and generously fulfilled all that has been asked of them from this Jesuit university that exists to the greater glory of your name. And now we send them forth as leaders of our community and our country in a time of opportunity and great challenge. So bless them, Lord, with minds that remain curious to learning for their entire lives the beauty of this life and the truths that are transcendent. Give strength to their hearts so that they might be men and women of compassion and mercy. Strengthen their hands that in a world of division, they might work to bring all people to unity and peace. And as they go forth as leaders in our midst, may you always protect them and guide them to do the good as women and men of integrity. But as they leave this great university, bless all who remain behind, the administration, the Board of Trustees, faculty and staff of this great place of learning, and all the young people who continue their journey. Bless their work. May it always give you honor and glory. And we ask this, Lord, this blessing, in the power of your Spirit, now and forever. Amen. Graduates, congratulations, and may God bless you now and always. Amen.
Will everyone please be seated? It is now my privilege to introduce members of the first graduating class of Fairfield University who are joining to help us celebrate the 75th anniversary of Fairfield University. Dr. Robert Conti, Robert Fitzpatrick, Thomas Flattery, Raymond Longden, Dr. Thomas McCalla, John Riley, Dr. John Sacco, Anthony Verone. The undergraduate student entitled to deliver the valedictory address is chosen from among those members of the senior class outstanding for their academic achievement. This year, that honor belongs to Kenneth J. Krause from the Dolan School of Business.
Madam President, members of the Board of Trustees, honored guests, members of the faculty and administration, family, friends, and members of the class of 2017, I'm not your typical valedictorian. In fact, I didn't even want to come to college. I was never much of a student in high school, and I didn't see the value in education. I came here with low ambitions and without ever having walked at my prior graduation. But 4 years ago, we all gathered here on this lawn for convocation. Father Von Arx looked down from the back porch and described how we were about to embark upon a journey that would allow us to transform the world. At the time, he did not know anything about us. But Father Von Arx trusted our missions board, and they saw the potential in all of us that we did not yet see in ourselves. Today, after getting to know each other over the last 4 years, I think we can all proudly say that they were right in what they had seen, and that we are ready to transform the world. However, at the time, we certainly didn't see it ourselves. All of us could sense that we were about to undergo an immense change, but none of us understood how it would happen. Today, I would like to tell you about how that change happened. I want you to understand how far we all came and how far this education and overall experience will allow us to go. And I'd like to start by talking about our first night. That night, we went out to the quad and met each other for the first time. Though we were shy to approach one another, we were helping each other climb the stag statue before we knew it. We were exploring campus, climbing the hill where Presbo would take place, and calling our roommates to see if they wanted to come to the beach with our new group of friends. By the time that night completed, we had already formed friendships that we are now confident will last a lifetime. Though we were just a group of innocent first-year students, clueless to how our next 4 years would play out, our unpredictable journey was well underway, even before our foot came down from upon the stag statue's leg. I remember feeling a sense of excitement that night like I had never felt before. But as excited as I was, I couldn't help but feel a bit nervous, because I didn't think that I'd be able to make it here past the first semester. And as our classes began, that feeling of nervousness only grew. I didn't know a single thing that our professors were discussing, and I was amazed at how quickly you all seemed to pick up on the information that they presented. Whether you realized it or not, you all were already high-achieving individuals from the moment you arrived to campus, and I felt as though I barely had the qualifications to be here. The more I listened to you all speak, the more I started to think that maybe Fairfield's mission wasn't too ambitious, that maybe you would all transform the world, and that one day I would be able to claim that I was a witness to your greatness. But as our first exams rolled around, my accounting professor, Dr. Joan Lee, began to make sure that study groups were being formed. And even though I made it clear that I didn't know enough to contribute to the group, students provided me an invitation regardless. As I entered the study lounge filled with many of the people I'm proud to now call my friends, I thought about giving up. But shortly after we began to learn together, I no longer felt overwhelmed. No matter how uninformed my questions made me seem, you all were there for me. And whether you realized it or not, you all were well on your way to becoming the men and women for others that you are today, and I am so privileged to call you all my friends. That night, I made friendships that I hope to have for as long as I live. I started to gain a sense of confidence that wouldn't ever be broken. I knew that if I decided to change my major, which was declared as accounting, it would be by my choice and not by my failure. I understood what it meant to be a Fairfield University student and the mission that lay before us. But at that moment, my world was only beginning to transform. This 4-year experience was filled with challenges that one night in the Campion Study Lounge never could have prepared me for. But like all of you, I was inspired by our faculty to do more than I thought possible. And when I began taking philosophy courses with Dr. Douglas Paduti and business management courses with Dr. Michael Cavanaugh, seeking knowledge in all aspects of my life became a must. And when both professors suggested that I supplement my major in accounting with a second in philosophy, I began to see the world differently. I started to use our core to blend knowledge from across multiple disciplines and find a greater meaning in all things that I encountered. And while at times I felt as though I took on more than I could handle, this class and university community never stopped supporting me. Together, we took on a rigorous core curriculum. We supported each other as we struggled in classes that were beyond the scope of our majors. We grew in faith together during lunches with Father Michael Duty. We encouraged each other in Division I, club, and intramural sports, and we even motivated each other at the university recplex. We helped each other to succeed regardless of the challenges presented to us, and we made practicing cura personalities become almost second nature. And before we knew it, we were standing beside each other as we took the abilities that our professors helped us to cultivate outside of the classroom. We went from being lost first years to scholars who were making a difference. We were raising funds for charities by getting local businesses such as the Levy and Pronto to provide students incentives to donate. We were traveling across state and international boundaries, providing service to those who needed our help. And whether we were building houses in Ecuador or staying here in Fairfield, we continued to develop the abilities to think critically in the face of new challenges. Regardless of the changes in our locations, our decisions to be of service to others remained constant. No matter where we went, our support for one another never wavered. And the lessons that we learned from our devout faculty were never forgotten. And with every customer we helped businesses gain, every donation we helped raise, and every home we helped to build, we helped transform the worlds of all those that we encountered. Family and friends, be proud of your graduates today. You were the reason we accomplished all that we did. Though our professors and classmates were the ones who helped us in the classroom, you were the reason why we wanted their help in the first place. Even though your graduates may seem embarrassed when you tell them how proud you are, they wouldn't want you to feel any other way. So take today to celebrate the accomplishments your graduates have had over the last 4 years, and tomorrow, prepare for more, because before long, you'll be celebrating more accomplishments again. Professors, you did not just teach us information, you taught us how to understand it. You showed us how to think critically, and you encouraged us every step of the way. As a result of your patience and dedication, we are ready for a world that will challenge us as much as you did. And on behalf of this entire class, I sincerely thank you for all that you have done. Classmates, there are going to be times when the world transforms without us and we feel like lost freshmen again. Our highest values may be challenged in ways that paralyze our existence. But despite an unpredictable world, we can take comfort in knowing that we have developed the critical thinking skills to face it. We can look back on our experiences here and know that we can rise to whatever challenge we face. Your determination can take this world across great lengths. And when the path ahead of you seems too difficult, make a new one or stomp your way through it, but never give up. Have the confidence to tell the world that if they don't believe in you, it's because they lack the ability to recognize your talent. And even though there are going to be difficult times, there will never be a time when you have to face the world alone. Though we'll no longer be together every day, we'll never be too far out of reach. Now, while I might not be your typical valedictorian, and though I didn't even walk at my high school graduation, I will stand by all of you for the rest of my life as we continue to transform this world together. And whenever you feel as though you can't, just remember that you are graduating here today ready to transform the world, and that the world is so lucky to have you. Thank you all for everything you have done, and God bless this university, the place I'm proud to call my home.
The President and faculty of Fairfield University have the honor to cite the following members of the graduating class who have won special recognition by their academic achievement. The Bellarmine Medal, established to commemorate the patron saint of Fairfield University, St. Robert Bellarmine of the Society of Jesus, Cardinal and Doctor of the Roman Catholic Church, is awarded to the undergraduate who throughout their entire 4 years of full-time study earned the highest academic average. This year's 3 recipients earned a perfect 4.0 average. The 2017 Bellarmine Medal is awarded to Shauna M. Dressel of the Miriam Peckham Egan School of Nursing and Health Studies, Matthew J. Finelli of the Dolan School of Business, and Madison R. Volpe of the College of Arts and Sciences. The Alumni Association of Fairfield University selects an undergraduate student each year who has made a distinguished contribution of service and has loyally represented his or her school during 4 years of attendance. This award is known as the Loyola Medal. The 2017 Loyola Medal is conferred upon Brendan McNamara of the Dolan School of Business. The President will now officially confer the honorary degrees on the recipients. The first citation for Stephen Braga will be read by Dr. Gwendolyn Alfonso, Associate Professor of Politics.
President and trustees of Fairfield University, to all who shall view these presents, greetings and peace in the Lord. There is no greater thrill in the practice of law than to walk a man out of prison for a crime he didn't commit, and no greater calling in the law than to remedy such injustices, says Stephen Braga. He should know, over the scope of his 36-year career as a lawyer, he has taken multiple pro bono cases, representing many individuals whose rights may otherwise have gone unnoticed, which resulted in freedom from incarceration for several. The first of his family to attend college, Mr. Braga chose Fairfield University, where he absorbed the Ignatian mission of social justice. Legendary Professor Carmen Donnarumma stoked Mr. Braga's passion for the law in his American constitutional law course by moving beyond abstract constitutional principles to make the stories of the people behind the cases come alive. At Donnarumma's suggestion, Mr. Braga went on to study at Georgetown University Law Center, where he became a member of the Law Review and graduated magna cum laude. It was 2 real-life encounters while at Georgetown, however, that greatly shaped his future vocation. First, he taught a practical law course called Street Law to a group of inmates at a maximum security prison, and next he participated in a clinic representing indigent defendants accused of misdemeanor crimes in the Superior Court of the District of Columbia. Over many years of working in private practice in Washington, D.C., Mr. Braga has represented clients across the professional spectrum, but says that his pro bono work on behalf of people who might otherwise have gone unrepresented has given him the greatest satisfaction. Early in his career, Mr. Braga won a trial for a penniless man mercilessly beaten in prison. Later, he established a landmark legal precedent on behalf of a young female civic employee fired for not working on a religious holy day. These victories fueled many other pro bono cases over the years, including intense efforts to save the lives of 4 men on death row, the direst circumstance of all. It took 13 long years for Mr. Braga and his team to free Marty Tancliffe of 2 wrongful convictions of murder. Tancliffe's successful exoneration of these crimes led to Mr. Braga being asked to represent Damien Eccles, who had been convicted as the ringleader of the infamous West Memphis 3 murders. 4 years of additional work led to the successful release of all 3 of the convicted men, including Eccles, from death row. If not for Mr. Braga's extraordinary pro bono efforts in these cases, Tancliffe and the West Memphis 3 would still likely be spending lives of needless misery in prison for crimes they did not commit, and Eccles might have died on death row with the other inmates the state of Arkansas pushed to execute last month. Mr. Braga has become deeply involved in the work of 2 organizations, the Innocence Project and Proclaim Justice, to challenge other wrongful convictions. And in the fall of 2012, he and his wife Kathleen also opened a small private practice dedicated to serving the interests of individual clients in need, the real people who are so often undeserved and unrepresented in the legal system. Also, in August of 2013, Mr. Braga became a full-time faculty member of the University of Virginia Law School, where he seeks to inspire a new generation of lawyers equally driven to seek justice for the often neglected and mistreated in our midst. Asked to sum up his mission, Mr. Braga quotes Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." For his passionate commitment and tireless exertion on behalf of the underrepresented and the falsely accused, and his unswerving dedication to the principles of social justice, the President and Board of Trustees of Fairfield University hereby proclaim Stephen L. Braga, Doctor of Laws.
The second citation for the Reverend Sean Carroll of the Society of Jesus will be read by Dr. Janie Leatherman, Professor of Politics and International Studies.
The President and Trustees of Fairfield University, to all who shall view these presents, greetings and peace in the Lord. It was an exploratory trip in 2006 to the border towns of Nogales, Arizona, and Nogales, Sonora, Mexico, to assess the needs of migrants that helped Father Sean Carroll, Society of Jesus, define his current mission as a Jesuit. In this region, many people cross the border into the United States without documents, sometimes dying in the desert in a desperate attempt to flee poverty or violence in their own countries. Hundreds of undocumented immigrants, rounded up from various regions in the United States, are held in detention centers in southern and central Arizona while they await deportation. The deportation process itself is emotional and frightening, and often separates families, leaving women and children particularly vulnerable to exploitation. Father Carroll and the Needs Assessment Team found that people on both sides of the border needed a safe place to discuss their conflicted feelings about the complex issue of immigration. We found an enormous need for greater awareness about the issue, and we discovered that any response had to be binational, he says. Thus was born the Kino Border Initiative, KBI, a Catholic, binational, collaborative effort named in honor of Father Eusebio Francisco Kino, a Jesuit missionary and explorer who was sent to Mexico in 1681 and is still a beloved figure today. The KBI partners with agencies on both sides of the border with a focus on humanitarian assistance, education, and advocacy. Catholic social teaching tells us that we are all made in God's image, and that gives each of us dignity as humans. But it also gives us responsibilities, Father Carroll says. Our work at the Kino Border Initiative is grounded in that fundamental truth. If people cannot have a dignified life where they are, they have a right to migrate to a place where they can have that life. Countries have the right to sovereignty, but it is not an absolute right. On the Mexican side of the border, KBI's work focuses on humanitarian assistance, providing food, counseling, and first aid, while educating migrants in the local community and advocating justice for migrants who are regularly abused by Mexican police and the U.S. Border Patrol. On the U.S. side, much of KBI's work centers on education and advocacy. The KBI held 66 mission trips, mainly for students, last year. It's a powerful experience for those on the trips because they dialogue with people deeply affected by this reality, says Father Carroll. As for KBI and policy, KBI advocates for a legal path to citizenship within the United States and for humanitarian reforms during the detention and deportation process. Father Carroll has led the KBI as its executive director since 2009 and also serves on the Board of Trustees of the University of San Francisco and on the board of Southern Arizona Interfaith. For his dedication to the least powerful and most vulnerable among us, and for his unwavering commitment to making one of the most desperate places in the country safer and more humane, the President and Board of Trustees of Fairfield University hereby proclaim Sean O'Connor Carroll, Society of Jesus, Doctor of Laws.
The third citation for Diane Dwyer Modestini will be read by Professor Maurice Rose, Associate Professor of Visual and Performing Arts.
The President and Trustees of Fairfield University, to all who shall view these presents, greetings and peace in the Lord. Internationally renowned art conservator and advisor to the Samuel H. Kress Foundation, Diane Dwyer Modestini had just finished cleaning and restoring Andrea del Sarto's Madonna and Child painting when the art historian Robert Simon brought her a 16th century oil painting on a badly damaged walnut panel, believed to be a common copy of Leonardo da Vinci's long-lost Salvator Mundi, Savior of the World. While still obscured by crude overpaint from earlier attempts at restoration, both Modestini and Simon believed it could be of extremely high quality. That was in 2005, and the beginning of a 6-year journey of meticulous care, treatment, and restoration of the Salvator Mundi. Ms. Modestini discovered early on that this was a work of remarkable delicacy, and she found the painter's nimble technique a challenge to imitate. About 3 years into the process, she was laboring over the subtle tones in Christ's damaged upper lip. She referenced a high-resolution photograph of Da Vinci's Mona Lisa and discovered a shocking similarity. She suddenly realized the painting could not be by any painter other than Leonardo. The finding was soon authenticated by leading Leonardo experts, making Salvator Mundi the first Da Vinci painting to be discovered in over 100 years. Identifying and restoring Da Vinci's long-lost masterpiece is only the most illustrious achievement of Ms. Modestini's long, productive career. After finishing her graduate education in art conservation and continuing coursework in Italy, Ms. Modestini was appointed Assistant Conservator of Paintings at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in 1974, where she was initially assigned to work on the American collection in preparation for the reopening of the American wing. Later, she was engaged by the Samuel H. Kress Foundation, which has over 3,000 works of European art in collections across the country, including the Fairfield University Art Museum. In 1987, she moved into private practice with her husband, Mario Modestini, one of the 20th century's great restorers and connoisseurs of Italian painting, who died in 2006. Ms. Modestini began to teach at New York University's Institute of Fine Arts in 1988. A year later, she developed a pilot class combining the results of her ongoing survey of the Kress collection. The success of the initial class led to the launch of the Samuel H. Kress Program in Paintings Conservation. Over 150 works from the Kress Foundation have benefited from careful examination and treatment under the program. The graduates are now key constituents in the field of conservation, thanks to Ms. Modestini's conception and careful supervision. In 2011, the restoration of Da Vinci's Salvator Mundi was finally complete. The painting made its public debut in an exhibit at the National Gallery in London, where it was described as a momentous image. Ms. Modestini said that she was relatively satisfied with the end result. "One can never replace the hand of the artist," she explained. "I am just a restorer." A humble assessment, to be sure. For her steadfastness in restoring and identifying great artistic masterpieces of the past, and her dedication to teaching a new generation of conservators, the President and Board of Trustees of Fairfield University hereby proclaim Diane Dwyer Modestini, Doctor of Humanities.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to introduce the Reverend Jeffrey P. Von Arx of the Society of Jesus, 8th President of Fairfield University, as our 2017 commencement speaker.
First of all, congratulations to the class of 2017. It's been my privilege to serve as president of Fairfield University during most of your time here, so I am grateful for the opportunity to address a few words to you at your commencement. As student, faculty member, and university administrator, I've attended more commencements than I can count, and have heard more commencement addresses, frankly, than I care to remember. I can certainly recall being best disposed to commencement speakers who were brief, and so I promise you I will be that. I've often been asked, especially as I finished my tenure as president, what was the most rewarding part of my job? And I've always said it was the opportunity to watch young men and women like yourselves who came to Fairfield as adolescents leave as self-realized adults. If you reflect on who you were and what you were like when you arrived at Fairfield in the fall of 2013, and who you are now, you will understand what I mean by this. This growth is, of course, a natural process of maturation, but I like to think that we at the university have had a role to play in facilitating and furthering this process. What does it mean to be a self-realized adult as we understand this at a Jesuit Catholic university? It means, in the first instance, to be a whole person, an integrated person, a person who knows him or herself. You know yourself not simply through introspection, although this is important, but mostly reflectively, through what you know about other things. In other words, what you have learned at Fairfield about history or science, philosophy or accounting, math or nursing, insofar as you have reflected on these disciplines and internalized them, helps you to know yourself. You know who you are as an integrated person because you know what you know. A person who knows her or himself also knows what she or he believes. Because you understand things in the world and have appropriated and integrated that knowledge, you have developed well-grounded beliefs about what is right and true and good. You have developed values to live by. As you look around you, I'm sure you realize how hard it is for people your age, or any age, to develop values to live by. Too often, people accept their values uncritically from the culture around them, which works hard to market false values of consumerism, materialism, and hedonism. It takes not only courage, but also informed conviction to stand for contrary values of human dignity and human solidarity. And it is this informed conviction that we hope we have helped you to develop here at Fairfield. One of the greatest anxieties I have for people your age is the difficulty they have in knowing how to make good choices about the most important things in their lives. Another word for these important choices is commitments, and people of your generation are thought to be deeply commitment averse. And yet, we hope that you have come to understand that it is only through commitments that you will realize the deepest personal and communal goods, whether of marriage and family, or meaningful careers and service to the community. It is only people who know themselves and know what they believe in, as we hope you do as a result of your education here, who can make these commitments. We call the process by which you make important commitments in your lives discernment. And you must know by now that discernment is at the heart of Jesuit spirituality and of Jesuit education as we try to practice it here at Fairfield University. Discernment is the ability to bring all that you know and believe to bear in matters of making good decisions about your lives. But there is nothing more important in the process of discernment as your own sense of who you are and what will be conducive to your becoming ever more deeply who you are meant to be before God. There are a number of Jesuit catchphrases that you have probably learned during your time at Fairfield. Men and women for others. Cura personalis. Education of the whole person. But all of these phrases point ultimately to this process of discernment through which you try to find your vocation in the world. That vocation is, of course, not yours alone. It is for the service of your brothers and sisters as well, especially the most vulnerable, toward whom, as people to whom so much has been given, you have special responsibilities. And your vocation is ultimately for God, both as God's will for you and as your way to God. As you leave this place as the self-realized men and women we hope you have become, may God draw you to himself to become ever more the men and women God wants you to be, which will also be your best and truest selves. Thank you, and I hope you believe I've kept my comments to be brief. God bless you all, and have a wonderful life.
This commencement, I would like to take the opportunity to issue a very warm welcome to the members of the class of 1967. These men represent the alumni celebrating their 50th year reunion of Fairfield University. We are honored by their presence, by their lifelong commitment to Fairfield University, and for all the traditions that this fine university espouses. I would like to take a moment to ask the members of the class of 1967 to stand and be recognized by our graduating seniors, their guests, our faculty, and the administration. We shall now have the presentation of candidates for degrees in course by the deans of the 5 schools and the conferring of those degrees by the president of the university. Dean Uhura Williams will present the degree candidates from the College of Arts and Sciences. Dean Williams.
Will the graduates please put on their hoods and come forward to receive their diplomas? Please withhold your applause until all graduates have been presented.
And the state of Connecticut, I hereby confer the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science degrees on all those presented by the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences.
Mark Aiello, Dana A. Gotti, Lynn Alvarez, Carla Alvarez Nunez, Christopher Amoko Koa, Sydney Arestivo, Alexandra Aylward, Kelly Baker, Emily Banishinsky, Katiana Barnes, Riley Barrett, Lynn Bartiromo, Hillary Bassett, Cara Batelli, Karina Bautista, Benjamin Bayers, Victoria B., Caitlin Bennett, Jean Berberick, Chastity Barrios Hernandez, Melissa Bianco, Anna Berea, Elizabeth Boughton, Ryan Berady, Genevieve Brewer, Kristen Brockwell, David Buckley, Anne Burgoyne, Richard Burke, Emily Bushy, Emma Byrne, Jillian Cahoon, Soldanji Kanas Munitan, Claudia Capria, Zachary Candelaria, Claudia Capria, Jack Carty, Nola Caslin, Maria Castellana, Victoria Cavalacci, Bonnie Chatfield, Austin Chanel, Emma Christensen, Alexander Clinton, Daniela Colazuazzo Toledo, Madison Conley, Anthony Conroy, Michael Conti, Matias Cordero Marquez, Kristen Costanza, Kaylin Costello, Catherine Cotter, okay, Pamela Kufos, Carson Craig, all right, Michael Crispino, Alice Crowley, Anya Cullen, Ryan Cully, Caroline Cuneo, Ryan Dale, Brittany Danielewski, Megan Day, Julie DePau, Christiana de Blasi, Vincent DeGennaro, Christian de Jesus, Sydney Delfico, Teresa De Palma, Michael Desero, Victoria Dest, Sandra Di Donato, Peter Dillenschneider, Alexandra Di Leonardo, Olivia Di Tomaso, Catherine Dolan, Caroline Donahue, Chelsea Donovan, Alexander Dorff, Taryn Druge, Sarah Dubisset, Megan Duffy, Sarah Dugan, Melanie Dumitrescu, Marion Dunn, Brian Earhart, Maria Eklund, Margaret Elliott, Andre Escalera, Luke Fain, Dominique Falsi, Christopher Fazikas, Alexandra Femmel, Mishka Falikin, Brianna Fernald, Alyssa Fernandez, Zoe Ferranti, Alexandra Ficci, Corinne Fisher, Colleen Fitzgerald, Megan Flanagan, Michael Flanagan, Annalie Forlini, Emily Fries, Vincenzo Frozolone, Nicole Funaro, Stephanie Gallia, Amanda Gallagher, Erin Gallagher, Isabel Gallego, Dana Garcia, Paola Garcia Munoz, Shalia Garnett, Christopher Gaynor, Michelle Girardi, Lea Giacchetto, Liza Giangrande, Patricia Gloria, Nicholas Greco, Sarah Greenwood, Anne-Marie Grillo, Isabella Guansol, Megan Guiney, Victoria Haber, Julia Hogman, Amanda Hajar, Megan Hamilton, Kelly Hanlon, Andrew Harding, Morgan Hasty, Emily Hayes, Jamie Held, Riley Hellstein, Katie Henderson, Jane Holland, Rebecca Hyatt, Johan Eisen, Andriana Ilnicki, Kaylin Jandora, Guillermo Jimenez Lainez, Daniel Joseph, Kelly Carbassian, Tyler Kennedy, Caroline Kazulis, Maggie Kiley, Sarah Crastens, Andrew Kraus, Megan LaFleche, William Lammy, Catherine Lane, Luna Latif, Vicky Law, Rachel Lawler, Mark Lee, Alexis Lemnios, Ariana Lenchi, Justin Lewis, Kimberly Lindquist, Gabriela Lopez, Brendan Lochran, Connor Lucy, Jillian Lucia, Shauna Lynch, Riham Majid, Raven Malave, Olivia Mansfield, Dominic Marshall, Deanna Martinelli, Jerica Martinez, William Martorano, Amanda Massacre, Simone Mazzata, Nicholas McCarthy, Riley McCarthy, Caroline McConnell, William McConnell, Deirdre McElroy, Erin McElwee, Mary Kate McGee, Madeline McMillan. Caitlin McNabb, Casey McNamara, Jennifer Mezapel, Isabella Mikiel, Tess Mindom, Danielle Monjo, Gabriela Morel Camacho, Isabella Mortensen, Ryan Moynihan, Bridget Mulcairn, Brianna Mullaney, Liam Murphy, Marie Murphy, Tessa Murphy, Elliot Neski, Alexandra Nicoli, Madison Norton, Aileen O'Brien, Griffin O'Brien, John Patrick O'Connor, Ryan O'Connor, Kayleen O'Donnell, Adriana O'Crane, Amanda Oliveira, Patrick Orkins, Victoria Ortega, Jacqueline Ozajowski, Robert Padilla, Joseph Palasitz, Matthew Parenti, Robert Parker, Matthew Picard, Justin Palazza.
Helen Pepperman, Gabriella Petriello, Catherine Pizzella, Abigail Phillips, Dawson Pinelli, Nina Pusikian, Kelly Puso, Damian Quinn, Jasmine Raghunandan, Juanina Rainey, Michelle Rakowski, Emily Rappel, Gabrielle Rizzo, Kayla Robley, Michael Roach, Michael Rodriguez, Damian Rosales, Bethany Russo, Jacqueline Ryan, Danielle Seta, Laura Salerni, Sebastian Santos, Kendall Sasu, Sabrina Schaffenberg, Chloe Shapar, Grace Schiller, Tatum Schwartz, Adrian Garlado, Morgan Sharp, Elizabeth Sheehan, Samantha Silva, Kathleen Samalchik, Casey Smith, Alexandra Soltis, Laura Soto, Shay Spiller, Ann Staley, Kelsey Sullivan, Sean Switzer, Sarah Talmadge, Ashley Taylor, Isabel Delonis, Vincent Tenaglia, Abigail Terrace, Roanna Thomas, Roanne Thomas, Sean Tobin, Devin Terosian, Kelly Troiano, Genesis Vega, Victoria Vesci, Gabriella Visa, Stephanie Vickers, Michael Villain, Madison Volpe, Jenna Walsh, Morgan Walton, Clara Whalen, Alexandra Whitfield, Margaret Willerup, Taylor Willerup, Thomas Wohlmacher, Kimberly Ann Yemeni, Hillary Yesbly, Mackenzie Yusko, Claire Zaneski, Nika Aquino, Cassidy Bogle, Sheila Bonatabus, Lucas Cabral, Andre Colexte, Jillian Cassidy Payson, Danielle Cosia, Brianna Cocuzo, Caitlin Cocuzo, Angelina Coletti, McKenna Connor, Alexandra Cowan, Rachel Crawford, Lauren Cusick, Danielle D'Alessandro, Catherine Davin, Robert Davis, Julia DiGiovanni, Rachel Dolan, Gina Dolissi, Amy Donahue, Matthew Duggan, Ellie Emanuel, Alexander Ferranti, Eric Ferrer, Chase Foster Spence, Ryan Fritz, Gianfranco Galatini, Robert Gargano, Thomas Greenwood, Robert Hanson, Robert Hertline, Jessica Jamin, Victoria Jedson, Jonathan Jones, Megan Kirkpatrick, Nina Kusick, Megan Cusick, Coleman Makuch, Danielle Masaya, Alexandra Martin, John McGovern, Morgan McCann, Chelsea Merce, Caitlin Mers, Thomas Melisitz, Caitlin Miller, Matthew Moore, Maura Morgan, Charles Morrill, Brendan Moynihan, Delina Muharamigovich, Krista Murray, Cindy Nelson, Ruben Nevis, Sally Inge, Jacqueline Noyes, Tyler Otrowski, Justin Patton, Leah Pawelsick, Francis Piropat, Nicholas Ragonisi, Alyssa Rains, Catherine Rizzolo, Haley Roberts, Jessica Romeo, Kristen Rothdeutsch, Nadia Santoro, Stephanie Sawisic, Samantha Schreck, Michael Smith, Riley Smith, Philip Strang, Elizabeth Zabel, Angela Tassinelli, Sean Thomas, Alexandra Tabridi, Matthew Turner, Chanel Tyndall, Kayla Urbanowski, John Versace, Joseph Weber, Juliana Wydek, Withone Wen, Julia Wood.
Congratulations to all.
Dean Meredith Kaiser will present the degree candidates from the Miriam Peckham Egan School of Nursing and Health Studies. Dean Kaiser.
Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in nursing from the Miriam Peckham Egan School of Nursing and Health Studies please stand? These men and women have fulfilled all the requirements established by Fairfield University for the Bachelor of Science degree and are hereby presented to the President and trustees for the conferring of those degrees.
By virtue of the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Fairfield University and the State of Connecticut, I hereby confer the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing on all those presented by the Dean of the Miriam Peckham Egan School of Nursing and Health Studies.
Will the graduates please put on their hoods and come forward to receive their diplomas? Please withhold your applause until all graduates have been presented.
Carrie Adams, Catherine Baker, Julia Bakery, Ashley Boyle, Julia Brown, Laura Bonasora, Kelsey Burke, Caroline Caponelli, Adriana Carino, Alyssa Carpino, Kristen Cheslock, Janine Quicho, Jenna Clemente, Natalie Cohen, Elizabeth Costanzo, Julie Chepkowski, Hannah Dalkey, Catherine Dalton, Alexandra DiMartino, Kimberly DeRosa, Courtney DeSisto, Shauna Dressel, Jennifer Dumond, Kelly Elson, Jacqueline Foley, Gianna Formasano, Caroline Galius, Danielle Gallo, Matthew Garvey, Agatha Garan, Ashley Jerkins, Catherine Grasso, Jessica Garino, Timothy Hatton, Alyssa Whopper, Elizabeth Jetson, Kaylin Johnston.
Ariam Kifle, Feodos Kudia, Victoria LeBlanc, Caroline Lillycraft, Kelly Lenane, Alexandra Maravik, Sandra Marshall Ray, Jacqueline Marsigliano, Ashley Mays, McLean Matisse, Taylor May, Bailey McDonald, Fallon McKeon, Carrie Meehan, Brianna Meyer, Allison Miller, Molly Missett, Sarah Mitchell, Melissa Morrow, Sarah Morissette, Nicholas Mudry, Ariana Nelson, Anne O'Neill, Megan O'Sullivan, Casey Oliver, Mary Osgood, Lauren Pace, Amanda Perez, Catherine Petiti, Stephanie Piccolo, Stephanie Pisani, Allison Pizarzik, Julia Powell, Molly Powers, Catherine Regan, Julia Reno, John Silva, Cameron Smith, Haley Soulier, Megan Sullivan, Maura Tierney, Kayla Valenti, Julia Verdibello, David Villanova, Mary Webb, Samantha Woodbury, Lisa Young.
Congratulations to all.
Dean Donald Gibson will present the degree candidates from the Dolan School of Business. Dean Gibson.
Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree from the Dolan School of Business please stand? These men and women have fulfilled all the requirements established by Fairfield University for the Bachelor of Science degree and are hereby presented to the President and trustees for the conferring of those degrees.
By virtue of the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Fairfield University and the state of Connecticut, I hereby confer the degree of Bachelor of Science on all those presented by the Dean of the Dolan School of Business.
Will the graduates please put on their hoods and come forward to receive their diplomas? Please withhold your applause until all graduates have been presented.
Margaret Abbott, Robert Abriola, Jonathan Ahila, Peter Oleveris, Kelly Aliberti, Morgan Amsrud, Christian Anderson, Stephanie Aquiawalt, Caitlin Arnold, Maria Bakusis, Andrew Banger, Thomas Bannon, Maharim Albarazi, Brett Barrett, Casey Barry, Connor Beakey, Tyler Baring, Haley Benbrook, Caroline Bennett, Sarah Berkowitz, Scott Burlingay, Biagio Bigica, Tyler Blind, Michael Bonaiuto, Matthew Borda, Stephen Borelli, Brandon Borsagni, Philip Bucas, Caitlin Boyle, Abigail Brennan, Nupali Labrulau, James Brockhausen, Brenna Brown, Sarah Buckland, Daniel Bono, Mary Calabro, Samantha Calagna, Christopher Camuto, Patrick Canavan, Brooke Capella, Claire Carberry, Christopher Cardone, Kelsey Carey, Corey Carnahan, Brendan Carroll, Stephanie Carroll, Thomas Casali, Charles Castle, Catherine Chambers, Douglas Chappell, Patrick Charles, Amy Clavin, Selena Chiluisa, Yutong Chung, Timothy Cabau, Nicole Colassuono, Cameron Collins, William Colopy, Daniel Conley, Ryan Connaughton, John Corcoran, Brandon Cortazar, Antonio Cortese, Mackenzie Crowley, Justin Cucino, Aaron Cunningham, Noel DeVersa, Sam Daly, Carly Daniels, Madeline Davis, Nicholas DiCarlo, Walter Decker, Guy DeFeo, Ariel Giuseppe, Daniel Delaney, Devin Delos, David DeLeo, Matthew Del Rosso, John DeMarco, Michael Denaro, Brett DeVerna, Robert DeWhaley, Vincenzo Di Domenico, Jonathan Ducharme, Elizabeth Duffy, Zachary Dunphy, Andrew Eidenschink, Samuel Ellis, Jesse Erickson, Carla Escalera, Joseph Esposito, Ricardo Estevez, Alexander Fazo, Elliot Ferris, John Festa, Matthew Finelli, Emma Fischio, Ashley Flanagan, David Fleming, Aaron Fleming, Maria Flores, Shannon Flynn, Samantha Foley, Dylan Fosella, John Frayne, Max Fuchsman, Adriano Fulchiero, Sarah Gaelic, Megan Gallagher, Simon Galagani, Patrick Gannon, Andrew Gatus, Hannah Gerard, Jack Giegerick, Ryan Gill, Kimberly Ginsberg, Christopher Giorgio, Michael Juliana, Barbara Goger, Eric Gonzalez, Connor Goss, Pamela Grant, Matthew Green, Patrick Grubb, Dominic Guarnieri, Kelly Gubitos, Henry Guo, Brenna Guillet, Patrick Haggerty, Alicia Hanush, Christian Hauser, Kristen Havner, Robert Hedberg, Jake Hurley, Caitlin Hildebrandt, Matthew Hill, Michael Hill, Matthew Hoffman, Claire Holleran, Daniel Hopkins, Mark Osapian, Ralph Haransich, Megan Hughes, John Hurley, Alexander Hutchin, Ashley Iannucci, Melissa Iannucci, Brooke Imbonone, Albert Inorelli, Anthony Iorio, Molly Jacobson, Shahid Jaffrey, Samuel Jensen, Josue Jorge, Melinda Kalaya, John Keefe, Kelly Keegan, Jake Kelly, Cormac Kennedy, Jack Kenny, Deanna Kilgallen, Connor Kim, Morgan Kimball, Timothy Knightley, Jacob Nossman, Samina Kojic, Brian Connick, Brianna Korn, Kenneth Kraus, Evan Crick, Maya Krisicki, Kelsey LaForest, Nicole Lambie, Grace Landers,
James Laviolette, Cormac Letty, Andrew Leone, Deirdre Lewis, Carl Lindgren, John Longo, Tyler Longo, Luis Luer, Daniel Lopez, Jonathan Lucente, Brendan Lynch, Mary Madden, Michael Mafucci, Marie Magliocho, Nadia Macras, Marcel Malagon Baez, Madeline Malloy, Jennifer Maloney, Cassandra Mangan, Carolina Manser, Herbert Marash, Lauren Marciano, Thomas Marinin, Ryan Marsalek, Joseph Martin, Patricia Massey, Alyssa Marie Mastanduno, James Masterson, Christopher Mathiasen, Michael McKee, Scott McGinty, Ryan McGuire, Amanda McKenna, Danielle McKenna, Karen McKeough, Catherine McMahon, Sean McMerriman, Brendan McNamara, Alice McPartland, Ryan Maringolo, Christine Miller, William Mills, Jenna Mitchell, Vincent Monteleone, Veronica Moore, Molly Moran, Alexander Morgan, Connor Morali, Nabila Mubarak, Joseph Musali, Brendan Murphy, John Murphy, Joseph Murphy, Matthew Murphy, Nicole Murphy, Sarah Nardi, Jennifer Nativo, Fred Nefton, Kayla Nelson, Jen Kwak Win, Rachel Nielsen, Matthew Nolting, Alexander Nowicki, Danielle O'Banner, Bernard O'Connor, Callie O'Connor, John O'Malley, Brianna O'Toole, Sarah O'Toole, Kelly Oliveira, Natalie Pache, Austin Pachi, Tyler Pachi, Gabriel Pamich, Nico Panapinto, Matthew Paron, Erica Paulius, Matthew Peacock, Robert Pelk, Stephen Penna, Isabella Perkins, Nicholas Perrone, Gabriella Piatek, Mark Pinciaro, Daniel Perez, Christopher Pasivac, Robert Putvin, Christopher Preet, James Pooley, Michelle Puthota, Robert Quinn, Daniel Riddell, Nicholas Ragone, Catherine Reardon, Everett Reed, Megan Riley, William Reisfelder, Vincent Rella, Gabriella Restivo, Megan Richer, Jennifer Ricketts, Michael Reardon, Elise Robbins, Ryan Roche, Lauren Rufo, Sean Russell, Karen Ryan, Emily Ryder, Zachary Sabadosa, Gianna Saladino, Sarah San Clemente, Samantha Sanguinetti, Forrest Savage, Gianna Sabaro, Zachary Schaefer, Jacqueline Schofield, Troy Skoka, Alyssa Scordo, Kara Sheehan, Mary Kate Sheehan, Elizabeth Sheeran, Colleen Sheridan, Lilybeth Silva, Emma Singer, Edward Siska, Dimitri Skurrit, James Smaldone, Molly Smith, Stephen Smith, Tian Smith, Elizabeth Solar, Stephen Soviero, Paul Spino, Donna Staiano, Liana Starantino, Daniel Steimel, Matthew Stevens, Heather Stott, Ava Striegel, Ulana Suarez, Scarlett Sullivan, Colleen Sullivan, Hale Summers, Catherine Talamelli, Joseph Tamburello, Briona Tancredi, Maxwell Tesaro, Teshna Theodore, Robert Toko, Michelle Tovar, Christian Tucci, Robert Valenti, Timothy Valenti, Stephanie Van Fleet, Francesca Varallo, Samantha Vickers, Jacob Virgilio, Julia Vitti, Joseph Von Uffel, Christian Wallace, Connor Walsh, Nicholas Walsh, Jai Wang, Kelsey Washburn, John Weber, Brenna Wheel, Alexandra Weiss, Benjamin Whitcomb, Cameron Whitelaw, Rasheen Wiley, Logan Williamson, Jacqueline Ann Wilsey, Monica Voitel, Sarah Woodcock, William Woods, Zachary Wright, Autumn Young, Brianne Zelko, Ryan Zebik.
Congratulations to all.
Dean Bruce Berdanier will present the degree candidates for the School of Engineering. Dean Berdanier.
Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science degrees from the School of Engineering please stand? These men and women have fulfilled all the requirements established by Fairfield University for the Bachelor of Science degree and are hereby presented to the President and trustees for the conferring of those degrees.
By virtue of the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Fairfield University and the state of Connecticut, I hereby confer the Bachelor of Science in Engineering on those presented by the Dean of the School of Engineering.
Will the degree recipients please put on their hoods and come forward to receive their diplomas? Please withhold your applause until all the graduates have been presented.
Andalib Ali, Julian Ashang, Keneal Brown, John Servone, Calvin Champa, Vincent Corsello, Andrew Danick, Kyle Doobie, Maria Fedeli, Jamal Ganik, Connor Gleason, Christopher Gutierrez, Brian Herman, Ravina Hingorani, Allison Jago, Daniel Kennedy, Kareem Karbouche, Joseph Kelsch, Julia McManus, Maxwell Mentenis, Carlos Mesquita, Vincenzo Moretti, Hui Nguyen, Karen Nussbaum, Christina Ochoa, Ethan Olmsted, Richard Paredes Cortillo, Davina Phillips, Sarah Rybacki, Gustavo San Clemente, Andrew Tafkar, Michael Truba, Dennis Turano, Michael Wright, Sarah Zimmerman.
Congratulations to all.
At this point in the ceremony, I would like to ask all of our new graduates to please rise and acknowledge with applause your appreciation for your faculty as teachers, advisors, and mentors. Thank you. Please take your seats. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Lynn Babington, the president of Fairfield University, to offer remarks. Dr. Babington.
Thank you, Dr. Siegel. Every commencement is a very special day, and today, in many respects, the high point in our academic year. We come together as a community today to celebrate your achievements, your dedication, and your growth. We join as a community to celebrate the work of our family and staff who have supported you throughout your years of study with us, and we celebrate new beginnings. You are leaving Fairfield University to go out and engage in the world as young women and men for others, as professionals, as neighbors, and as citizens. As Father Von Arx just remarked, from this day onward, you will go out into the world becoming ever more deeply who you are meant to be before God. This year's commencement is a particularly special one as we also celebrate the 75th anniversary of Fairfield University. Allow me to say what an honor it has been for me to be with you here today and to be able to preside over this commencement ceremony on this very special year. And let me thank all of the members of the class of 1951, our first graduating class, who have joined us all today to celebrate this anniversary. I can only imagine what it must be a remarkable day for you to look out at this group of young people who have receiving their degrees and to reflect on that day in 1951 when you celebrated your graduation. Now there's one thought that I want to leave you with. I've had the opportunity over this last year to really think about the history of Fairfield University and to reflect on all of the changes that this campus has seen over the years. And it's still remarkable for me to imagine now that when Fairfield was founded 75 years ago, it was intended as a university for men. Women would not attend Fairfield University until the early 70s. Now, most of our students are women. And indeed, you have before you the first woman and the first lay president to have ever served in the office of the president. Thank you. The world has changed so much over these 75 years. We are truly a global community now. Thanks to the technology that has advanced so quickly, the world is right at your fingertips all the time. All of the world's challenges are truly global challenges that require global solutions and cross-cultural cooperation. And the world needs leaders now who are comfortable working in this environment, working across cultures and reaching across disciplines. It's an exciting world, an evolving global society that's creating a whole new vistas of opportunity, and Fairfield graduates, now as ever, will find their place in it. Now, on St. Patrick's Day in 1942 at St. Robert's Hall Seminary in Pomfret, Connecticut, 7 Jesuits created the Articles of Association for a new preparatory school, the Fairfield College of St. Robert Bellarmine, now Fairfield University. It continues to strike me as how extraordinary it is that the founders of Fairfield University drew up a charter for this university and signed it at the very beginning of the United States' entrance into World War II, the most devastating conflict in the history of our world. Now, it's tempting to look in the rearview mirror and see everything that came before us as inevitable, just as smooth sailing, but it wasn't really like that. Those founders who were seated around that table in Pomfret were making a choice at a time of great uncertainty. Those founders were making a leap into the unknown. And surely there must have been some jangling nerves at that particular moment for those Jesuits around that table, knowing that the young men that they had hoped to form and educate would be going off to war, and not knowing what fate would befall the young men they hoped to form and educate. But they founded the university anyways, and that shows you Fairfield University was a leap of faith right from the beginning. And it continues to be a leap of faith. Every year, every class, every new program, and each and every student represent a leap of faith, and that is how it should be. When St. Ignatius discerned that forming the first Jesuit college in Messina, Sicily, in 1548 was a direction that his new Society of Jesus should follow, that too was a leap of faith. He could not have foreseen that within 200 years, there would be over 800 Jesuit educational institutions all over the globe. Ignatius could not have foreseen that this leap of faith in 1548 would lead to the largest network of educational institutions the world has ever known. And you are part of that. So I would suggest to you that we are always making this leap of faith as persons and as a university community. We are always stepping into the unknown with hope and with courage. We make this leap of faith in the belief that there is work to be done and that there is a great pattern that's unfolding in the world. And we take this leap of faith that we all have a role to play in the unfolding of this great pattern that is the will of God. We believe, as St. Ignatius, that we have both the duty and the capacity to change the world for the better. And we believe that the process of education is the essential transformative interaction between students and teachers, students and mentors, that prepares us all for the work that is before us. Education prepares us to put our shoulders to the wheel and prepares us to embrace our obligation to make the world a better place for everyone. And I say to you who are graduating today that this is what your time here at Fairfield has been all about. God bless you and thank you all.
Please rise. To bring our commencement to a close, the Reverend Mark Scalise of the Society of Jesus, Director of Campus Ministry, will pronounce the benediction.
Let us pray. Loving God, as we gather on this beautiful day to celebrate the academic achievement and character development of Fairfield University's class of 2017, we do so with great gratitude. We ask your blessings on our new graduates as we send them forth into the world. Continue to guide their minds and hearts, that they might actualize the full potential you placed within each of them, and willingly place all their gifts and talents at the service of humankind. We thank you for the gift of reason, which allows our graduates to respond to your offer of love and life. Bless their professors and mentors who have so graciously shared with them their scholarship and wisdom, and who so generously and selflessly have helped mold their minds and hearts while here at Fairfield. Bless the parents of our graduates, their first and finest teachers. We give you thanks for the families who have encouraged and sacrificed so much on their behalf. Bless their classmates and friends who have helped them overcome obstacles and reach heights that alone they would not have achieved. Gracious God, may the blessings of this day, recognition, affirmation, and celebration, inspire all our graduates with the courage to go forth, strengthened in their resolve to elevate our common humanity, and renewed in their commitment to cultivate compassion and justice in their lives, their communities, and our world. Loving God, you have begun this good work in each of our graduates. We pray that you carry it through to completion. We make this prayer in your holy name. Amen.
Will our guests please remain in their seats until those on the stage and the graduates have recessed. The 67th commencement exercises of Fairfield University are now officially concluded.